Wenatchee is gorgeous in the spring with its lush green rolling hills, abundant wildflowers everywhere, and the views of the Columbia River. The local food scene offers an abundant selection of authentic international cuisines featuring the unique farm-fresh ingredients of the region. Wenatchee is also home to award-winning wines, handcrafted hard ciders, and a talented handful of local brewers producing fine craft beers. Visit Wenatchee, the heart of Washington State.
New on Curiosity Stream. With superior armies comes superior weapons. How has innovation mechanized the battlefield? From bullets to battleships and everything in between. It's machinery of warfare. Plus, from the gross to the gourmet. See how that in-flight meal lands on your tray table. On secrets of your airline food. It's all on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
Hey, this is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show's podcast. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you should check out my other podcast, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We have new episodes every day, and you can check it out at bjgeeknation.com.
Your driver's license is important so you can get back and forth to work, get your kids to school, and back and forth to daycare. If your license has been suspended because you can't pay your tickets, you can't do any of those things. Let's talk about Chapter 13 bankruptcy. You may have heard the tickets cannot be discharged, but they can be dealt with in a Chapter 13 case. Why not come in for a free consultation? The chapter you choose will make all the difference to your getting back legally on the road. Let's design a plan to pay off your tickets and restore your license immediately. I'm attorney Travis Gagne. Please contact me today at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com.
99.9 KISW, the Rock of Seattle. There's a website. It's called The Ringer. And they ranked the 50 best movie and TV plot twists of all time. And these are all spoilers, so, you know.
But they're all old movies, I think, at this point.
Well, we're going to be talking about, some Star Wars stuff, Game of Thrones stuff, The Sixth Sense, The Usual Suspects. So, listen, we're going to talk about all these movies. So, if you really, don't want to know the spoiler of them all, then stop listening. But yeah, so this is interesting because these are the biggest plot twists ever.
Okay.
Biggest plot twists of all time, TV and movies. You can whichever ones you want to put on the list.
Oh, that adds a lot. Of plot twists to it.
Yeah.
My first one. I'm a Rocky freak, and I was trying to think of what's been a great plot twist in Rocky, and I have to say in Rocky 3, and I doubt this is even on the list, but in Rocky 3, when all of a sudden Apollo Creed helps him as opposed to being his opponent, because after spoiler alert, Mickey dies, Rocky loses his way, and it's Apollo and his team that bring him back to take on Clubber Lang.
That is a great device when the bad guy helps the good guy.
Right. I mean, Apollo, he was just a cocky guy. He wasn't really a bad guy. He gave Rocky an opportunity. That's not bad. But I mean, he was Rocky's opponent for the first two movies. And then all of a sudden now he's Rocky's helper.
Yeah.
And then he dies.
Oh, man. Spoiler alert.
That's Rocky 4.
That's a twist right there.
That is also a twist.
Son of a... I mean, really, his enemy who became his friend then dies? What does that tell you?
The other plot twist in Rocky 4 is when Rocky ends the Cold War at the end.
Yeah, that I don't think is a real plot twist there, yeah. Anybody else? Because Rocky's not on the list here. We only have the top 10.
It's got to be I See Dead People. The Sixth Sense.
Yeah, that is number 3.
God, that movie was ruined for me.
Did you know that ahead of time?
So we went to go see it in the theater, and my cousin leans over to me and goes, I think he's dead in the first, 10 minutes of the movie.
So did the cousin know, or was he just smart?
I think she had heard that she had heard the plot.
Sucks.
She was like, I think he's supposed to be dead.
She's trying to fake it.
Oh, she's trying to act smart.
Yeah.
And then at the end she'd be like, I knew it. I called it.
Yeah. And so at the end of the movie, the entire movie, I'm like, oh, well, he's dead. So that makes sense why his wife's not. It was so ruined.
Yeah, she should never get to go to movies again.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'm with Steve on that. I don't usually agree with Steve, but he's right. She's barred from the theaters.
Somebody's like, hey, I'm shocked you didn't go with the Titanic when the ship sinks. LOL.
Yeah, that was a plot twist.
That was a plot twist.
Now here we are thinking it's just a romantic boat.
Yeah.
Spoilers, guys.
Yeah. I would have to say for me, it has to be Fight Club.
Fight Club is on number 5 on the list.
Yeah, when you realize that,
What's the plot twist on that one?
that
that Meatloaf has anger management issues?
That is 100% it.
Yeah.
Bob.
Yeah. And
I remember watching Fight Club the first time I was stoned, and I kind of just I just stared at the screen toward, you know what I mean? It was just whatever. And it wasn't until like the next day we were talking about it, and then the plot was discussed about how it was just all in his head.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? No. And I didn't even realize it. I had to go back and watch it sober and be like, man, I missed out on a great movie. I was just so, the same with Usual Suspects. I was just too stoned to understand what the hell was going on.
That's number 4.
What?
Yeah, Usual Suspects. Because you find out that the guy who was like the weakest looking character with the limp and all
Yeah,
that,
Verbal. Mhm.
that in fact you, Sir Verbal, are Kaiser Sose.
How about that?
Yeah,
That was such a good reveal, too.
yeah. The guy telling the story,
Yeah.
is the villain of the story.
Yeah, and the best part about it is like when the realization of the detective's looking around and he's seeing like this coffee cup says something that is like what was in the story, and then as he's just walking away and suddenly the limp goes away and just to the normal walk, just gets in a car, goes away. It's like, whoa!
I wonder if that movie holds up knowing what you know. Like the shock factor of
Yeah,
learning
I
at
don't
the
know.
end, you know, that's the thing. And like Danny said, when you find out about The Sixth Sense.
Yeah, I'll never watch The Sixth Sense again. But
Yeah, you
I
don't need
loved
to.
watching it because at the end you're just like, holy crap, that was awesome.
There is one thing on this list that Steve knows about that I have to say, I mean, maybe, I don't know, some people are split on this show, and I think you're one of them, Steve. And it's a show called The Good Place. You watched that, right?
Yeah, I feel like we need to go back and watch it. I almost get a feeling that we like spent more time playing on our phones and paying attention to the show as it continued on because we loved it at first and then got bored by it.
So you never saw the twist?
Well, yeah, I know the twist.
Oh, you
though.
do know the twist
Yeah.
now. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so The Good Place is actually the bad place. That is a cool twist.
It is, and it's a very clever show. I just got bored with it.
I could see that.
But it's got Ted Danson in it.
Here's the thing. Sometimes
True.
network television stretches things out way too much.
That would have been, yeah, I almost feel like that show would have been good just like maybe 1 or 2 seasons.
Or maybe it was just like a 10-episode
have, like,
season,
3
which you
or
could stretch out over
That's true.
4 years if you wanted to.
And maybe we just need to go back and pick up where we stopped paying attention and see how it goes.
Yeah. Well, especially, I don't know when they tell you it's the bad place. Did you know from the show, or did you hear later on?
Later on.
Oh, so you never even knew. You never got to when you found out it was the bad place.
I might have. I just wasn't paying attention.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Yeah, multitasking, you really can't do it.
No, and that show, it just kind of like, I think we were trying to, the problem was that was one of those shows I don't feel like we should have binged. Because we were just kind of watching it almost every night.
Yeah.
And it was super fun at first, but then it was just like, okay, I'm done with this. It's almost like Parks and Rec. Like, I like Parks and Rec, but watching it like a couple episodes a day was just kind of getting taxing. Like, once a week is enough.
Yeah, see, you and I are different on that one. Once I get into a show, I'm like, I'm a completionist. I need to watch everything they've done.
Some shows, Breaking Bad was a great example of a show that I wanted to just keep watching and not go to bed. Like, it was almost like a drug.
But not
Yeah.
until you watch the series finale.
Yeah, I started at the end and worked my way backwards.
Which was great, actually.
And so it says that's one of the best plot twists was Breaking Bad when Hank's on the toilet finally pieces together that it's Walt. It's an insane cliffhanger for the season finale and left me amped for the final season, which didn't let up for a second.
Yeah. That's a good one. Didn't make the top 10, but it's definitely a good. It's a cool, because it is a plot twist. Because Hank was a buffoon at the beginning. He was almost a cartoon character, and then he became somebody you really empathize with, and then eventually figured it out.
What was that? I can't remember. I watched Shutter Island. A few people have texted in saying that has the best plot twist, but I forget even what that movie was.
I haven't seen it
That's
yet.
the movie with Leo DiCaprio.
Yep.
He's trying to he's a detective,
Yep.
and he's trying to solve the mystery of this patient, why he's being locked into this mental asylum because it's like for some reason like he's not like crazy, but now he's being wrongfully committed. And then it turns out that he's actually committed rightfully. He just thinks he's a
That's
detective.
right.
That's so cool.
In all of that. So yeah.
That's cool. Well, I won't watch that now.
Well, yeah. It's amazing, Rev. You have a very good retention when it comes to movies.
There's certain
No wonder why
movies.
you're good at Doug Loves Movies.
Yeah, there's certain movies that I just love, and I love plot twists so much.
Steve, that's because he doesn't stay on his phone and play on his phone. That's why he actually
I
watches the movie. He
have
doesn't
to pay
fall asleep.
attention to stuff.
I saw that movie in the theaters, man.
Did you fall asleep?
No.
Oh, that's shocking.
I watched the whole thing and I enjoyed it. I just don't remember anything about
Wow. Okay. Well, I was going to blame
It didn't
your phone
resonate
and lack
with
of.
you.
You had popcorn and everything, right?
it. Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, it was
Wow.
a great film. Like, that's my problem with movies, man. Like, I'll watch them and I'll enjoy them, and then as soon as they're over, I forgot what I watched.
Well, that's kind of a cool thing. That way you could watch them again in a couple of years.
But it sucks when people are talking about movies and I'm like staring at them like a deer in headlights, and I'm like, I've seen this movie. Why? I have nothing to contribute. You know what I mean? It's just,
That is great. Steve, you should see this movie. I think
You'd be terrible at book clubs.
Yeah.
Most I was terrible at Doug Loves Movies. I'm just there, and I'm like, yeah, I watched this movie we're all talking about, but I can't think of anything else that happened in it.
I don't know. That's you're like 50 first dates for movies.
I am, dude. It's just like it's like I enjoy it, and then it's done. Unless it's like an epic film, like Rocky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6.
There you
See,
go.
that's the problem. You're saving spot in your brain for. You got to move stuff out. You got to move a couple of those
Too
Rocky
much
movies out of
Rocky
there.
trivia.
I don't want to let it leave, man.
Yeah, that's the problem, man. You got to let it go. It's not all of Rocky's great. Well, none of us hit number one. Of course, this right here definitely was an iconic plot twist, deserving of being number one.
Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father.
He told me enough. He told me you killed him.
No. I am your father.
That was powerful.
Yeah.
And back before we had the internets, man, I mean, it was a surprise to all of us.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it really was an amazing
What a great
reveal.
layer of good versus evil right there, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the evil guy is your father.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's good business, man.
Good business.
It was because you know Luke going into the forest and fighting Vader, but then seeing his face in the mask when it explodes.
It was such a dour turn in a movie. You don't expect movies to end like that, though.
Yeah.
Like, dude gets his hand chopped off,
Right.
finds out his dad is a baddie.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
And yet-
wait until, 2 more years and good luck to you.
And his dad really was a baddie. I mean, his dad killed children and everything. I mean, he was
bad
horrible.
dad.
He was really, really horrible. And yet they really said, well, I'm going to redeem him anyway.
Right. Now we're going to make you conflicted. We're going to add this epic layer.
Yeah. So there you go. That's, every list, of course, you're going to fight about. But I think, I mean, anybody can agree that was a great one. A great plot twist.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
Wenatchee is gorgeous in the spring with its lush green rolling hills, abundant wildflowers everywhere, and the views of the Columbia River. The local food scene offers an abundant selection of authentic international cuisines featuring the unique farm-fresh ingredients of the region. Wenatchee is also home to award-winning wines, handcrafted hard ciders, and a talented handful of local brewers producing fine craft beers. Visit Wenatchee, the heart of Washington State.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too big to fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
New on Curiosity Stream. Deformed trees, mutated wildlife, and no humans for miles. 10 years after the disaster at Fukushima, see what this irradiated ecosystem can teach us about nuclear fallout on Radioactive Forest. Plus, looking for the most diverse marine life on the planet? Dive into the Coral Triangle and experience a frenzy of wildlife you've got to see to believe on nature's greatest secret. It's all on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
99.9 KISW, the Rock of Seattle. We have an anonymous woman in Iowa. We don't know who she is, but she decided before the death of her cat, Mr. Tufts, that she wanted to have the beloved pet cloned. I guess that's why she's anonymous. Maybe, people probably...
backlash.
They're like, what are you doing? So what they did is they took living tissue samples from Mr. Tufts before he died. The vet got him, then sent him to a place called Viagen Pets. Oh, they didn't send him to Repet? They really should have.
Need say that.
Yeah.
What is Repet?
It's from the Arnold movie. What was it?
The Sixth Day,
Sixth
I think?
Day, yeah. Oh, it's a great movie.
Yeah,
dude. It's
yeah.
got
Is that
Michael
the one with Tom
Rappaport.
Arnold?
What?
No, that's True Lies.
Yeah.
Well, he
It's
might
got-
actually be in this one. I have no idea.
It's a sci-fi movie. It's got it's
Michael Rappaport, you said.
yeah, and basically it's just Arnold fighting clones.
I'm sure I've seen it. I've seen pretty much every Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Yeah, you have seen this. You
Yeah.
better. If you haven't, go to Repet. I need to go get my dog repetted.
When did that come out, though?
Ooh.
2000. Okay, so 20 years ago, that joke was good. Just kidding. Just kidding.
You better be Mr. Everything's About Rocky.
Dude, of course. Don't get so butthurt.
Oh, I'm butthurt. I'm sorry because
Sorry.
You cannot insult Arnold. I'm sorry. He is the greatest gift to mankind. Yeah. So, but they did talk about it in that movie where basically people would want to clone the animals that they had because they just don't want to let them go.
There's not a chance. I couldn't do that. Like we even talked like when the time comes that Lulu leaves us that we're not going to get another breed, like another dog of the same breed.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean? Like it's a Maltese, but like even before, like when I had Lucy, she was a German short-haired pointer, and I loved that breed of dog. Even then, I'd be like, unless I got the brown-haired version of. Because Lucy was the spotted white hair one, it would just feel odd, like because the dog would look the same, but it wouldn't be the same.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And that's exactly what this whole cloning thing is that it turns out they're not exactly the same. So she spent $35,000 to basically get this thing, and basically they took these cells that they preserved, replaced the nucleus of a female cat's egg, then they transferred to a surrogate mother cat, and this all was
so
a $35,000 just to have the cat look like Mr. Tufts.
I'm not one to tell someone how to spend their money, but that's a really dumb way to spend your money.
Unless she really thought it was going to be an exact duplicate.
But it's still not going to be Mr. Tufts.
Yeah, and that's what you'd think she'd know.
Right, like it's not going to come and be like, hey, I have all these memories with you. I'm just going to pick up where Mr. Tufts left off, and I'm going to be the same cat. Like, that just seems so odd. Like, if you really wanted a cat that looked like Mr. Tufts, just get a cat that's the same breed.
Yeah, it would have been a lot cheaper. She did, and she said, I've noticed some differences. And it's like, of course you've noticed some differences because it's not exactly the same dude.
It's not at all.
Yeah. Now, the time comes when you can implant memories, then you're talking.
Oh, forget about it. When you get like a little USB thing, like a little flash drive that you pop in someone's head.
Oh, yeah. They call that the stack in the altered carbon world.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just put that in there and you can always go where you want to go.
Now, I have toyed with the idea of if we get another dog would be to get, because my original dog when I was a kid, we had a Kerry Blue Terrier. An awesome dog. And for a long time, I could never even imagine getting another Kerry Blue Terrier because it would just remind me of our first dog as a kid. But now I'm like at the point where it's been so far removed that I could almost see myself getting that dog again, that breed, because it's such a cool dog.
Ah, okay.
And I'm so far removed from her that it doesn't feel like I'm replacing her with something that looks like her.
Yeah, you had a couple of different versions since then.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So it's fair. So that's the next plan.
I don't know if it is the next plan, but I think they're cool.
Do you think you'll be dogless, or will you always have a dog in your life?
Never.
All right.
The older our dog, like I'm so glad that we had Lulu when we had Lucy, because when Lucy passed, it was like it made it so much easier. And also, Lulu picked up some of the mannerisms that Lucy had because they spent time together. So it's a nice little tribute.
So how long are you going to wait? Because I don't know how old Lulu is, but I mean the smaller dogs tend to maybe have between 10 and maybe 12 and 15, 16 years, right? I think that's
I'd say like around anywhere from 12 to 14, 15 years. Yeah, so I mean, I would say like when maybe in like a couple of years start thinking about it.
Because Lulu can be a mentor.
Yes.
It's nice when you have the older dog. They're a lot more chill with the younger ones.
Plus it helps them stay young. Like when you have like a puppy or a dog with a lot of energy, that older dog seems to still kind of step it up because it has that energy around it.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't even realize that.
That's how it was with like our in-laws' dog before she passed. Like whenever we bring Lulu over, she would just like perk up again.
Oh, all right. Well, these are, but no cloning for you.
But some people are on the other side of that. Like over the last 20 years, I've had 6 Great Danes. I'm currently on my 5th and 6th. I love that breed, even though some have similar colors. They all have different personalities. You're never replacing one. You don't want to. Another person wants a pit bull owner. Always a pit bull owner.
Yeah, I remember that where one of my buddy's mother, she loved her Airedale, and she got another one when the Airedale passed away. Yeah. And I thought that was weird because it really did look like him.
I know some people would like that with golden retrievers. They will not get any other dog but a golden retriever.
Yeah, it's a little. I don't know what to make of that, to be honest with you.
I think it depends on the person.
Yeah. But cloning, I don't know. I could see me wanting to clone if I loved pets. I would want to clone because I like to get the same, TV model when the other one blows. Like, you know what I mean?
Your pet's not like a Samsung.
Well, some people treat their pets like Samsungs. Like, when you think about,
or if you just feel like not spending as much, you get a Westinghouse. It's fine.
All right, there we go.
It works.
A little Westie. Look, it's a little Westie.
But I mean, if you had, let's just say, okay, let's use like the German, the golden retriever as an example. Like obviously they all have a different vibe or a different energy. Maybe like you can tell. It's like, but on the surface, they kind of look the same.
Yes.
So isn't that the same as cloning at that point? Like, all you're hoping to do is get a dog that looks kind of like the dog that you once had, or the cat that you once had. So just get another golden.
See, my brain thinks if you go by sci-fi cloning, that you will also have the similar brain development. So you'll have same personality traits. Like everything will be the same. But as it turns out, that didn't happen in this particular instance so I don't know if cloning isn't that good. Or, where, if you put them in the same environment with the same mind, they should develop the same. That's the whole idea, heredity versus environment as far as human beings are concerned. So I don't know, if they could duplicate the entire brain, would you then do another Lulu? If they could basically... No, you really... Even if it would be the same dog. It was Lulu 2 and she'd be basically just...
No, I think the next dog is just the next experience.
What if they could take her brain consciousness and put it into another dog? Like it's still her, but she's in a younger body. Would you do that?
Oh man, that's
crazy.
This is a stoner conversation. I don't know. I mean, no. I'd rather
do it.
I'd rather just experience like bringing a new dog into our world and enjoying that dog's personality.
Ooh, all right.
Like part of what sold us on Lulu was like I remember we went and visited the people that had her, and they had all the little puppies, and then she just grabbed like this bowl of food as a little puppy and dragged it away from all the other dogs. I'm like, wow, what a smart dog getting the food to itself. And then she just knocked the food over and made a mess. I'm like, that's hilarious. That's awesome. The dog we want. Nothing else.
That's so
There's
great.
a dog there. You know what? There's a dog that lives my lifestyle.
Yeah, she looks like she's a little chaotic.
Yeah. Well, sometimes that's the thing, the personality traits and that, you're not guaranteed to get that with, I guess, this current cloning process. So,
would you clone a human?
Ooh, that's some Black Mirror stuff right there.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like it'd be a good thing.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of sci-fi episodes where that didn't go right.
Way too many.
Yeah.
All right, I need to watch these shows then.
The problem is this, it's not you, at least, cloning is that you could basically take your consciousness or download, like basically backing up a hard drive, you put it into another body, that's still not you. That's just, like, they could go on and live their own lives and you're still here. It's what was that show? Oh my God, Me and Myself Alone. It's the Paul Rudd show on Netflix.
Oh, we watched the first episode.
Living
Living
with Yourself, I think, maybe?
Yeah. And that's exactly what it is. You're not
the same.
You think it's going to be you into the next body, but no, it's just another copy of you.
Right, that has some traits, but not that show is kind of trippy. It's fun though.
Yeah, it could be an exact copy of you, depending upon what clone store you. But it's still not you. Therefore, I'm not living forever. I'm the guy I know right now will die, and then whoever is a copy of me is going to live on. But it's not actually going to be me.
He's just going to kind of look like you.
And he could be an exact copy and with memories and everything, but that's going to be him. He's his own separate being. It's not like I'm still living. You know what I mean? My own unique self is going to be gone.
Right. I don't want to burden someone else with my crap.
Yeah. Well, unless they could do it better, like, with Paul Rudd's character. They
you just
better.
get him to do all the stuff that you don't like to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like his wife.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Wasn't expecting that.
No, actually, he still liked doing that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. They basically tweaked out. It was a cool process in that story where they tweaked his negative attitude out. And the clone was just all the positive, best version he could be.
Right.
Which is, but he wasn't supposed to live. That was the point. It was like he thought he was going to upgrade himself, but they were just replacing him with a better version of him. He didn't know that.
Right, just trashing him.
Yeah, but he lived through that, and so that's the joke is like negative him and positive him, and who's going to win?
And now they have to exist together.
Yeah.
What was that? Amazon Prime?
Netflix.
Okay. Yeah. I can't remember what shows I'm watching.
I haven't finished it
channels.
either. My wife we watched a couple of episodes, thought it was clever, and then we're like, we're done.
That's exactly what happened with us. The first couple episodes were really well done, and it was entertaining, and then it was just like, what else is on?
Where are they going to go with this? And I'm sure they're going to go somewhere with it, but I'll get back to it. I usually watch it on the plane.
So it says, I love my late dog. I'd love to have her back, but spending $35,000 to get your dog back, straight up psychotic.
Yeah, that's a lot of dough.
Unless you're like really rich. Even then, I still wouldn't want it. I think there's better use to your money.
You'd have to
from
be
someone that spends his money on the dumbest thing.
You have to be Bill Gates rich. Because $39,000 to him isn't a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Otherwise, that's a big investment. That's a lot of dough.
Just to have a cat that looks like your old cat.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter to you, but some people just they want to have it's just so crushing for them to lose that pet.
I get it. I mean, I get losing a pet is the worst, and I do not look. I mean, in my experiences when it's happened, it's heartbreaking. It's the worst. But I don't think. I like to talk to her. I don't want to talk to her at all. What am I saying? But if
I would like to talk to her right now.
I would like for someone to talk to her after a couple of years and say, was it worth it? And did it help with the grieving? You know what I mean? Or could you have accomplished the same thing by getting a new pet?
See, I believe, and this is why growing up on a farm, a lot of people say that growing up on a farm was so helpful to them, because they learned how to deal with loss. Because a lot of them, especially when you're eating some of your favorite people,
Yeah. I loved you, Wilbur.
Yeah.
But man, you're awesome bacon.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. He's here right now and has agreed to answer more of your questions about bankruptcy. Here's a question from a listener. My house is currently in foreclosure. I've stopped making payments. What can I do to save my house?
If you're already in foreclosure behind on your mortgage, you can stop the foreclosure by filing a bankruptcy. There's different types of bankruptcy. Chapter 13 can help you catch up on your house payments if you're behind. It would mean that you'd have to start making your house payments again and catch up on the amount that you're behind over 5 years. You could also take off or strip off your second mortgage, which would help you to reduce your housing payment every month, especially once you're done with the plan and done catching up on your first mortgage. We could also try to buy you some time by filing a Chapter 13 case. Filing a Chapter 13 would definitely stop your foreclosure.
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com. And thanks for listening.